Have you ever experienced that heavy feeling of emotional attachment? It's like being stuck in a web you can't break free from. Well, guess what? You're not alone. People deal with this struggle too. Sometimes you might feel helpless, all tangled up in your feelings. But here's the good news: change is possible. Real, lasting change isn't far away, it's right in of you. This video shares wise advice from ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. They offer 10 amazing principles to help you emotionally detach from someone and find your inner peace. So why is detachment so powerful? Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." That phrase means detachment doesn't mean being cold or distant. Nope, it's about discovering the strength and clarity that are already inside you. Throughout this video, we'll dive into Stoic teachings that lead to emotional freedom. If you weave these ideas into your daily routine, you'll learn healthy ways to let go of emotional ties and focus on what truly matters. Just imagine. What if you could release those mental chains holding you back? You'd feel a sense of clarity, purpose like never before. Stoicism can give you the tools to handle your emotions with strength, understanding. Remember when Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realizing this can bring out a newfound strength in you. These teachings will guide you to value your inner peace over all the chaos outside. Are you ready to shake off those emotional chains? Ready to discover the power of personal growth? If that sounds like you, then this video is perfect for you. We're going to walk through 10 Stoic habits that can really change how you see emotional detachment. Let's start by thinking about what truly matters in our lives. Could it be finding peace in our minds? Join us as we delve into these principles together, making our way towards a free and empowered Stoic mindset. If this video speaks to you, don't forget to click subscribe. Join our wonderful The Stoic Legends community for more uplifting content. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. If you're unsure what to say, just write "Emotional freedom starts now." Let's take this journey towards emotional liberation together. The first principle: embrace the power of detachment. Have you ever felt like your emotions were being pulled by invisible strings? Like a puppet, controlled by others? It's worth asking how much power you've given away because of your connections. This is where detachment can really change things for you. Now, don't confuse detachment with not caring. It's about taking back control over your happiness and inner peace so they aren't affected by outside events. Why is this idea of detachment so important? Think about what Epictetus said: "We suffer not from events in our lives, but from our judgments about them." Detachment helps you take back that control. While things happening around you are beyond your reach, it's your reaction that you can decide. When we hold on too tightly to people or situations, we give up our freedom a bit. It's kind of like handing over the remote to your emotions. They can end up deciding if you're happy or sad, sometimes leading to choices you might wish you hadn't made. So detachment is really about grabbing that remote back and choosing which feelings to focus on. Picture this: your emotions are like a kite with many strings attached to different people or situations. If all those strings pull too hard in different ways, you might feel lost. Stoicism teaches us to let go a little bit. Sure, we can't change the wind, but we can choose which strings to keep holding on to. This doesn't mean your heart becomes hard. It actually makes your spirit stronger and more resilient. To start practicing detachment, think about what holds you tight. Is it wanting others' approval? Maybe it's the fear of being alone. Understanding why you attach so strongly is key to letting some of that weight go. Take my friend who used to stress a lot about making everyone happy at work, afraid of what they might think. When they realized how attached they were to others' opinions, they shifted focus away from that and started looking inside themselves for peace. Next up, do things that bring you joy and purpose. Focus on what you can control. Try to let go of what you can't. This will remind you of your own strengths and values. As you practice detachment, everything starts feeling different. You will see that your worth isn't tied to outside approval, it's already within you. This realization gives you confidence and clarity as you navigate life without getting stuck on emotional attachments. Like Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." When you embrace detachment, You're not pulling away from life, you're diving into it more completely with a clear head, steady heart. So go ahead, embrace this Stoic principle. You might just uncover a deeper sense of strength, peace within yourself, helping you tackle whatever challenges come your way with grace and resilience. Rule 2: embrace the power of letting go. Have you ever held on tight to a person or situation, even when it drags down? It makes you wonder, why do we cling so hard, even if it hurts? The truth is, it has to do with our own nature. Understanding this grip is key to finding real emotional freedom. Let's dive into this idea using the timeless wisdom of the Stoic philosophers. They can help guide us toward a life filled with clarity, peace. At its heart, attachment comes from our ego. Epictetus, a wise Stoic, said something important: wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This saying shows us that attachment isn't really about what we want outside. Instead, it's about those internal cravings that hold us tight. When we cling to someone or something, often it's out of a need for validation or security, all tied to our ego. Picture a happy newborn, not influenced by the world's pressures, just pure joy. But as we grow up, our ego takes over and fills our minds with attachments. These attachments can change how we see the world and make us feel distant from who we really are. Whether these ties are to people, things, or ideas, they can cloud our judgment and pull us away from inner peace. Do you ever feel your happiness depends on someone else's approval? That's your ego at work. It anchors your well-being to something outside you. To start letting go matters, we first need to see these attachments clearly, acknowledging that they stem from our ego's craving for security and validation. It's good to ask yourself things like, why am I so attached to this person or outcome? What fear or desire is hiding beneath this? Recognizing why you're attached is really the first step in breaking that hold. Think about a colleague who used to crave constant praise at work. Once they noticed their attachment to needing approval from others, they changed their focus inward and started valuing personal growth, self-acceptance instead. That shift helped them find a deep peace that no outside approval could ever give. Now imagine living from love instead of ego. What if you trusted that the universe has plenty to offer and believed that what's truly yours will come your way? This change in thinking can be life-changing. It helps you recognize your value as unshakable no matter what happens on the outside. As you begin looking at your attachments differently, you'll feel the heaviness they add to your life, a heaviness that no longer needs to weigh you down. It's super important to embrace abundance. When you let go of fearing loss, often the universe surprises you by giving back more than what you released. Detachment isn't about caring less, it's actually about understanding more. It's about staying true to who you are and allowing love, not fear, to guide your way. The journey of detachment can transform your life. It's like shedding layers of ego and showing off the strong, loving soul inside. It's about moving ahead without being weighed down by attachments, ready and open for new blessings with an open heart. By focusing on your inner peace, rather than chasing approval from others, you're creating a path toward genuine emotional freedom. Consider the freedom you'll experience when you stop seeking approval from others and learn to find value within yourself. This change leads not only to inner tranquility but also invites real connections and opportunities into your life. Like Seneca wisely put it, he who is brave is free. Embrace detachment not as stepping back from life, but as engaging deeper with a clear mind, strong heart. By doing this, you'll live truly, authentically, a solid anchor ready to face whatever life may throw at you with grace, resilience. Rule 3: the illusion of control. Have you ever found yourself tying your happiness to someone else's actions or craving their validation to feel good about yourself? It's a common trap, one that many of us fall into, believing that if we just try hard enough, we can control our relationships, emotions, and the outcomes of our lives. This is what we call the illusion of control. Breaking free from this illusion is key to achieving emotional freedom and finding inner peace. Often our ego tricks us into thinking we have power over external events and how others react to us. But this mindset only leads to emotional dependency and leaves us vulnerable. One of my favorite quotes from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus is, It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This simple yet profound truth captures the essence of Stoic philosophy. While we can't control what happens around us, we can always control how we respond. When we cling to the illusion of control, we might start putting others on a pedestal, believing that our worth depends on their approval. This distorts our view of reality and makes us feel like there's something we desperately need from them, something we believe we can't attain on our own. But let's strip away these illusions for a moment. When we do, we see that everyone is equally human, equally vulnerable. No one has some magical quality that makes them more worthy or superior. We're all on this journey together, each dealing with our struggles, hopes, and fears. To start dismantling this illusion, it's important to recognize that much of what we think we can control is actually beyond our influence. This realization can be both humbling and incredibly freeing. By accepting that we can't control others' actions or feelings, we can shift our focus inward toward the only thing we truly have power over: our thoughts, reactions, and personal growth. Instead of chasing validation from others, try practicing self-affirmation. Remind yourself regularly of your unique strengths and qualities. Understand that your value isn't tied to someone else's perception or approval. This aligns perfectly with Marcus Aurelius's wisdom: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Another powerful strategy is embracing an abundance mindset. The universe is vast, filled with endless opportunities for love, success, and happiness. When you stop fearing the loss of one specific person or outcome, you open yourself up to a world of new possibilities and experiences. In relationships, understanding this allows you to love freely, without clinging desperately to someone else for validation. It gives you the power to appreciate the connections you have while still maintaining your self-worth and independence. I once had a friend who was consumed by anxiety, constantly seeking their partner's approval. But when they internalized Stoic principles, they learned to find validation within themselves rather than from their partner. This shift not only strengthened their relationship but also fortified their emotional resilience. Remember, practicing emotional detachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means recognizing that your sense of completeness doesn't depend on anyone else's presence. By embracing these Stoic principles, you cultivate a deep emotional strength that prepares you to face life's uncertainties with grace and poise. So let's shed the illusion of control and embrace the liberating truth: true power lies within your mind. You are watching the video on the channel The Stoic Legends. If you like this video, please leave a like, a comment if you learned something useful from our video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Legends channel to build our Stoic community better. Thank you very much. Rule 4: Detachment in practice, a Stoic's path to true freedom. Picture a life unburdened by the weight of past regrets, free from the chains of fear that bind us to what is no longer ours to hold. In our pursuit of peace and fulfillment, we often find ourselves clinging to things that no longer serve us: relationships, possessions, and even memories. Yet, what if the key to a richer, more meaningful existence lies not in holding on, but in the art of letting go? As Marcus Aurelius once reflected, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. This simple yet profound insight lies the essence of detachment, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. To detach is not to abandon, but to release ourselves from the illusion of control over what is inherently beyond our grasp. We must recognize that our peace depends not on external circumstances, but on our inner disposition. Imagine holding a small, fragile shell at the edge of a vast, tranquil ocean. The shell represents everything you cling to: past joys, faded relationships, material possessions. The sea, in contrast, is the infinite potential of your life, vast and uncharted. The question is, will you hold tightly to the shell, fearing the loss of its familiarity, or will you cast it into the waves, trusting that the ocean has more to offer? The practice of detachment requires courage, the courage not to turn away from life, but to embrace it fully, with open hands. It is the courage to face the unknown, let go of the familiar's comfort, and step into the potential of what could be. This is the essence of Stoic detachment: not a cold, emotionless withdrawal, but a warm, life-affirming release. Consider the wisdom of Epictetus, who taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This is not just about material wealth, but about emotional and mental richness. To desire less is to be free from the tyranny of never enough. To detach from what we do not control is to step into a life where our happiness is no longer held hostage by the whims of fate. In my own life, I have struggled with this. There was a time when I held on to a relationship long past its natural end, believing that to let go would be to lose something vital. Yet, holding on, I was closing myself off to the new possibilities life offered. It was only when I released my grip that I found the space to grow, to experience new joys, and to forge new connections that were more in harmony with who I had become. We all face these moments where the fear of letting go feels like the fear of losing a part of ourselves. But what if that part is no longer who we are? What if holding on keeps us from becoming who we were meant to be? The Stoic practice of detachment invites us to trust in the flow of life and believe that in letting go, we are not losing but gaining something far more valuable: our freedom. Detachment is not about rejecting the world but engaging with it on our terms. It is about living in the present, unburdened by the past and unconcerned with the future. It is about finding joy in the simple act of being without the need to possess or control. As you move forward, remember that letting go is not a loss but a liberation. It is a declaration that you are ready to step into the fullness of life, free from the chains of attachment and open to the endless possibilities that await you. In the words of Seneca, begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. Embrace the practice of detachment and watch as your life blossoms into something more beautiful and profound than you ever imagined. Let go and let life surprise you. Rule 5: the path to happiness: finding joy within. Have you ever wondered why true happiness often feels elusive, slipping through your fingers when you think you've grasped it? We chase it in relationships, in possessions, in the approval of others, only to find that it remains just out of reach. But what if the key to lasting happiness doesn't lie outside you but within? What if the path to true joy is one you walk alone, guided by the wisdom of your own heart? The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who sought peace in a turbulent world, knew that happiness isn't something that can be given or taken away by others. It's not something you find in the world's fleeting pleasures, nor in the validation of those around you. They taught that true happiness comes from within, rooted in your character, actions, and perspective on life. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This isn't just about material wealth, it's about understanding where true value lies. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by what you own or who you're with, but by who you are. We often believe that our happiness is tied to the presence of someone else in our lives, that without their approval, love, or companionship, we are somehow less. But this is a misconception, a trap that keeps us bound to the whims of others. We give away our power when we place our happiness in someone else's hands. We limit ourselves, believing that we need someone else to complete us, to give our lives meaning. But imagine for a moment that you are a bird, born with wings but believing that you need permission to fly. You sit on the branch, gazing longingly at the sky, waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to spread your wings. But the truth is, the sky has always been open, waiting for you to soar on your terms. This is the essence of Stoic detachment, not a cold, indifferent withdrawal from the world, but a warm embrace of your strength and potential. It's about realizing that you are complete, whole, and capable of finding joy within yourself. It's about understanding that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else's presence or approval. You are the author of your own story, the master of your fate. Detachment is not about pushing others away, but drawing closer to your true self. It's about nurturing your inner garden, tending to the soil of your soul, and allowing yourself to grow and flourish, regardless of who may or may not be by your side. It's about finding peace in knowing you are enough, just as you are. Imagine a garden filled with beautiful flowers, each representing a part of your life, your passions, dreams, and strengths. You don't need to beg anyone to appreciate its beauty or to walk through it. You nurture it, care for it, and let it bloom. And in doing so, you create a source of resilient, independent, and deeply rewarding happiness. This is the path to true happiness, to find joy within yourself and cultivate a rich and fulfilling life, regardless of external circumstances. It begins with the understanding that you are complete on your own and that your value doesn't fluctuate with the opinions or presence of others. Your journey is about discovering the vastness of your sky and learning to love the freedom of flying solo when necessary. Embrace the wisdom of Stoicism. Focus on what's within your control: your thoughts, your actions, your growth. This doesn't mean closing your heart or turning away from love and connection. It means securing your emotional anchor within yourself, grounding your happiness in the steady soil of your being. Your self-worth is not a puzzle missing someone else's piece. It is a masterpiece in progress, complete as it is, yet open to the beauty the world has to offer. Consider the story of a friend who once believed their happiness depended on their partner's approval. They sought validation, thinking that their worth was tied to the love they received. But when they began to focus on their growth and nurturing their garden, they discovered a profound sense of self-worth and happiness that wasn't contingent on anyone else's opinion. This shift strengthened their relationship and made them more resilient and content in themselves. As you walk this path, remember that letting go isn't the end, it's a beginning. It's a bold step toward the life you truly deserve, a life of freedom, joy, and fulfillment. By nurturing your inner garden, you'll find that true happiness is not just within reach, but is an intrinsic part of who you are. Embrace this journey and watch as your life transforms, bringing you closer to true emotional freedom and fulfillment. Rule 6: embrace the present moment, finding peace in the now. Have you ever found yourself lost in the shadows of the past, reliving moments that no longer exist, or caught up in the fog of future anxieties, worrying about what might never come? We all do. Yet the secret to a life of peace and fulfillment doesn't lie in yesterday's memories or tomorrow's uncertainties. It lies in the here and now, in the simple, profound act of embracing the present moment. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, a man who bore the weight of an empire on his shoulders, offered us a timeless truth when he said, "Confine yourself to the present." In these words, he captured the essence of Stoic wisdom, the idea that life truly happens in the present moment. When we dwell on the past, we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of regret or nostalgia, longing for something no longer ours. When we fixate on the future, we invite anxiety into our lives, worrying about events that may never unfold. Both of these tendencies steal the richness of the present from us. But what does it mean to embrace the present truly? It means to be fully alive, to experience life as it is happening, rather than as a memory or a projection. It's about grounding yourself in the now, feeling the earth beneath your feet, tasting the food on your tongue, hearing the music and the voices around you. It's about letting go of what was and what might be and immersing yourself in what is. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate this presence. Mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind or escaping reality. It's about paying close attention to it. It's about noticing the details of your life without judgment, fully engaging in whatever you're doing, whether it's something as simple as washing the dishes or as complex as having a deep conversation with a friend. When you practice mindfulness, you anchor yourself in the present, allowing the past and the future to fade into the background. Take a moment to reflect on a friend who was constantly consumed by worries about the future. They were so focused on what might happen that they missed the joy of what was happening. But when they began to practice mindfulness, when they started to notice the skills they were honing, the relationships they were nurturing, they found a new appreciation for their current life. They realized that the future was not a place to live in, but a destination to prepare for, and that the present moment was the only place they could truly experience. Engaging in mindful activities can deepen your connection to the present. Meditation is a powerful tool for training your mind to focus on the here and now. Simple breathing exercises can also bring you back to the moment, reminding you that life is happening right now in this very breath. By dedicating even a few minutes each day to these practices, you can transform your relationship with time, becoming less tethered to the past and less anxious about the future. But embracing the present is not just about mindfulness, it's also about gratitude. When you learn to appreciate what you have right now, you shift your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. You begin to see beauty in your life's small, ordinary moments. Reflect on how a daily gratitude practice helped a friend shift their outlook, allowing them to find joy in the everyday and reducing their stress about what the future might hold. Gratitude is a gateway to the present moment, a way to ground yourself in the richness of now. Imagine the freedom that comes from releasing the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future. When you do, you open yourself to the fullness of each moment, experiencing life in its most accurate form. You build a foundation of emotional stability and clarity, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with a calm and focused mind. Embrace the wisdom of Stoicism. Focus on what's within your control: your thoughts, your actions, your growth. This doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting to plan for the future. It means anchoring yourself in the present, where true happiness and peace reside. Remember, the present moment is a gift. Living in it fully unlocks the potential for a more prosperous, more fulfilling life. The time to live is now. You are watching the video on the channel The Stoic Legends. If you like this video, please leave a like, a comment if you learned something useful from our video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Legends channel to build our Stoic community better. Thank you very much. Rule 7: reframe your thoughts, transforming your inner world. Have you ever noticed how your thoughts shape your feelings in the quiet moments of your day? How can a single thought lift you or pull you into despair? The Stoics understood this well, teaching us that our thoughts are the architects of our inner world. Reframing your thoughts is not just a mental exercise, it's a powerful tool for emotional detachment, a key to unlocking the peace within you. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This simple yet profound statement carries the weight of centuries of wisdom. Your thoughts are not just fleeting moments, they are the threads that weave your soul's fabric. Changing your thoughts doesn't just alter your mood, you transform your entire perspective on life. Start by observing the thoughts that keep you anchored in pain or dependency. These might be thoughts like, "I can't live without them," "I'll never be enough," or "my happiness is tied to this situation." Such thoughts create a prison of the mind, trapping you in a cycle of suffering and helplessness. The first step toward freedom is recognizing these thoughts for what they are: illusions. Once you've identified these negative patterns, it's time to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought an absolute truth? What evidence supports this belief? More often than not, you'll discover that these thoughts are built on shaky foundations, assumptions that crumble under scrutiny. This realization weakens their hold on you, allowing you to see beyond the fog they create. Consider the story of a friend who believed their worth was tied to the approval of others. They thought, "If I'm not loved, I'm nothing." But by questioning this belief, they realized they had intrinsic value independent of anyone else's opinion. This shift in perspective allowed them to detach emotionally from the need for constant validation, and in doing so, they found a more profound sense of self-worth. After challenging your negative thoughts, the next step is to replace them with thoughts that empower you. Instead of thinking, "I can't live without this person," try telling yourself, "I am whole and capable of finding joy within myself." Replace "I'll never succeed" with "every challenge is an opportunity for growth." These new thoughts should reflect a balanced, realistic, and empowering view of yourself and your life. To solidify these new thought patterns, practice daily affirmations. Write down statements that affirm your strengths and your ability to thrive independently. Speak them aloud each day, letting the words sink into your mind. Over time, these affirmations will help rewire your brain, fostering a more positive and resilient mindset. After incorporating affirmations into their daily routine, one colleague noticed a profound change in their self-confidence. They no longer felt the need to seek approval from others. Instead, they began to trust in their abilities and judgment. This inner transformation allowed them to approach life with greater clarity and strength. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can also support your journey in reframing your thoughts. Mindfulness helps you become aware of your thought patterns without judgment, giving you the space to observe and alter them. A friend who embraced daily meditation found they could step back from their thoughts, recognize negative spirals before they took hold, and consciously choose more constructive paths. Reframing your thoughts is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice. It's like tending to a garden. Your mind is the soil, and your thoughts are the seeds. Negative thoughts are the weeds that threaten to overtake the garden, but with consistent effort, you can uproot them and cultivate a flourishing landscape of positivity and resilience. This practice of reframing your thoughts aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control: your mind, your actions, and your growth. By making a conscious effort to change your thoughts, you gain mastery over your emotions and reactions. This doesn't mean denying life's challenges, but rather approaching them with a mindset that empowers you rather than diminishes you. As you continue to reframe your thoughts, you'll find that your emotional state becomes more stable, your sense of self strengthens, and your ability to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace and composure grows. The color of your thoughts begins to dye your soul in shades of peace, resilience, and fulfillment. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you transform the very fabric of your being, leading to a life that is not just lived but deeply experienced, a life where true happiness and inner peace are not distant goals but present realities. Rule 8: set healthy boundaries, protecting your peace and power. Have you ever found yourself saying yes when your heart screamed no, or giving more of yourself than you had to offer, all in the name of keeping the peace or avoiding conflict? This is a common struggle, yet it can erode your sense of self and leave you feeling drained and resentful. The solution lies in a simple yet powerful practice: setting healthy boundaries. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, setting boundaries is not just a practical necessity, it is a profound act of self-respect and emotional wisdom. It is about recognizing your worth and ensuring that your peace of mind is not sacrificed at the altar of others' demands or expectations. As Epictetus wisely noted, "No man is free who is not master of himself. To be the master of yourself is to be the guardian of your own emotional space, and boundaries are the tools that empower you to do just that." Setting boundaries begins with clarity. You must first understand what is acceptable to you and what is not. This might mean recognizing that certain behaviors, requests, or interactions drain your energy or compromise your well-being. Once you've identified these limits, the next step is clearly communicating them to others. This communication doesn't have to be aggressive or harsh. It can be calm, firm, and rooted in the understanding that you are protecting your health and happiness. Consider a moment when someone's behavior caused you stress or discomfort. Perhaps it was a colleague who constantly offloaded extra work onto you, or a friend who repeatedly crossed lines that made you uncomfortable. In these situations, setting a boundary is not about pushing the person away, but defining where you end and they begin. It's about saying, "This is my space, my time, my emotional energy, and I choose how it is used." When you set a boundary, you make a powerful statement about your self-worth. You tell yourself and others that your needs matter, that your well-being is a priority. This act of self-respect naturally reduces your dependency on others for validation or happiness. It shifts the focus from external approval to internal alignment, fostering a sense of autonomy and emotional independence. Imagine a friend who once struggled to say no at work, fearing that doing so would lead to disapproval or disappointment. This friend took on more tasks than they could handle, resulting in stress and burnout. But when they began to set boundaries, clearly defining what they could and could not take on, they protected their own well-being and gained respect from their colleagues. They learned that saying no, when necessary, was not an act of failure but a form of strength. Boundaries are like the fences around a garden. Without them, Your garden, your personal space, might be trampled by the demands and expectations of others, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and depleted. But with solid and well-maintained boundaries, you create a protected space where your inner self can flourish. You can tend to your needs, cultivate your growth, and allow your garden to bloom in its own time, in its way. As you establish and maintain these boundaries, remember that they are not acts of selfishness, they are acts of preservation and respect. They are the foundation upon which healthy, meaningful relationships are built. By setting boundaries, you are not shutting people out, you are inviting them into a space where interactions are balanced, respectful, and mutually fulfilling. Reflect on the story of a colleague who set boundaries with a demanding friend. Initially, they worried that the relationship might suffer, but instead, they found that the friend began to respect their limits, leading to a deeper, more balanced connection. This is the power of boundaries. They create the conditions for relationships to thrive, not in a state of dependency or imbalance, but in mutual respect and understanding. Embrace this Stoic principle by recognizing the vital importance of setting healthy boundaries. It is not an act of retreat, but of empowerment. It is a declaration that your emotional well-being is worth protecting and that your life is yours to shape. By clearly defining and defending your emotional space, you pave the way for a life of greater peace, autonomy, and fulfillment. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about mastering yourself, as Epictetus urged. It's about taking control of your own life and emotions, ensuring that you live not at the mercy of others but in harmony with your values and needs. By doing so, you protect your own peace and create the conditions for a life rich in meaning, connection, and true happiness. Rule 9. Engage in self-care, nurturing the self to find true strength. When was the last time you took a moment to breathe, pause, and do something for yourself? In the rush of daily life, it's easy to forget that we, too, need care that isn't just a luxury, but a vital necessity for our well-being. Self-care is more than just an act of kindness to yourself. It is a powerful tool for emotional detachment and cultivating a resilient, independent life. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, deeply understood self-care's importance deeply. He wrote, "A sound mind and a sound body is a short but full description of a happy state in this world." This wisdom reminds us that true happiness and strength come from within, from nurturing our body, mind, and spirit. Self-care is the foundation upon which we build our lives. Through this care, we find the strength to face the world with calm and composure. Physical exercise is one of the simplest yet most profound forms of self-care. It strengthens the body and lifts the spirit, releasing endorphins that elevate your mood and bring a sense of well-being. Consider the story of a friend who took up running. At first, it was a struggle, a battle against inertia and fatigue. But with each step, they found a new energy and vitality that transformed not just their body but their mind. The act of running became more than exercise. It became a meditation in motion, a time to connect with themselves and find peace away from the world's demands. Meditation and mindfulness practices offer another path to self-care that centers the mind and calms the soul. In a world filled with noise and chaos, these practices provide a sanctuary where you can retreat and find clarity. Imagine a colleague overwhelmed by the pressures of work. Their mind was a storm of thoughts, their emotions a turbulent sea. But by incorporating a simple daily meditation routine, they learned to still the waters and find calm amidst the chaos. This practice didn't just reduce their stress, it gave them the mental clarity and emotional stability to navigate their challenges gracefully. Hobbies and passions are yet another avenue for self-care. These activities bring you joy, that light up your soul, and remind you of the beauty in life. Whether painting, reading, gardening, or playing an instrument, these hobbies are more than just pastimes, they are lifelines to your inner self. Reflect on the neighbor who rediscovered their love for painting. What began as a casual hobby soon became a source of immense joy and fulfillment, a way to express themselves and connect with something more profound. In this act of creation, they found happiness that wasn't tied to the approval or presence of others, but was entirely their own. Moreover, self-care isn't just about solitude, it's also about connection. Spending quality time with loved ones who uplift and support you is crucial to nurturing your emotional well-being. Think of the family member who prioritizes weekly gatherings with close friends. These moments of laughter, shared stories, and deep connections provide a sense of belonging and reinforce their emotional resilience. In these connections, they find a support network that strengthens them, a community that reminds them they are not alone. Self-care is about creating a balanced lifestyle that supports your overall well-being. By caring for yourself, you build a strong foundation that allows you to face life's challenges confidently. It's not about detaching from others out of coldness, but about nurturing your strength to engage with the world from a place of inner peace and self-assuredness. Consider the colleague who prioritized self-care, regularly setting aside time for personal hobbies and physical activity. This commitment to themselves helped them navigate professional setbacks with resilience. When challenges arose, they were not overwhelmed. They had a well-rounded life that provided multiple sources of joy and fulfillment. They had built a life where their well-being was central, and this made them more robust, more capable, and more at peace. Prioritizing self-care is a vital step in nurturing a fulfilling, independent life. Embrace this practice by planning activities that nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Doing so creates a life where your well-being is the foundation, empowering you to engage with the world from a place of strength and self-assurance. This dedication to self-care aligns perfectly with the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control: your actions, thoughts, and well-being. As you embark on this journey, remember that self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the cornerstone of a resilient, independent life. By nurturing yourself, you cultivate a more profound sense of inner peace and happiness, allowing you to thrive regardless of what life throws your way. You are your first responsibility. Engage in self-care, and you will find that it is not just an act of survival, but a celebration of life. You are watching the video on the channel The Stoic Legends. If you like this video, please leave a like, a comment if you learned something useful from our video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Legends channel to build our Stoic community better. Thank you very much. Rule 10. Practice gratitude, finding abundance in the present. Have you ever noticed how focusing on what you lack makes the void seem even more significant, pulling you deeper into feelings of dissatisfaction and longing? It's a common human experience, this tendency to dwell on what we don't have, to fixate on what's missing rather than appreciating what is present. Yet there is a simple, powerful antidote to this mindset: the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is more than just a fleeting moment of appreciation. It is a transformative habit that shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. It allows you to see the richness of your life as it is, rather than through the lens of what could be or what once was. By practicing gratitude, you cultivate a mindset that values the present and diminishes the hold that unmet desires and attachments have on your soul. Epictetus, a kindred spirit to the Stoics, wisely observed, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for." This profound insight encourages us to pause and reflect on our current blessings that we often overlook in our endless pursuit of more. Consider the simple practice of starting each day by writing down 3 things you are grateful for. These don't need to be grand or life-changing. They can be as ordinary as a peaceful morning, a warm cup of coffee, or the kindness of a friend. This daily ritual is not just about listing positives, it's about retraining your mind to see and appreciate the abundance that already exists in your life. Over time, this practice can fundamentally alter your perspective, helping you detach from the constant yearning for more and find contentment in what you have. Take, for example, the story of a friend who, after a painful breakup, felt consumed by loss and emptiness. The heartache seemed overwhelming until they began keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, they wrote down 3 things they were thankful for. Slowly, their focus shifted from the void left by the relationship to the fullness of their life, the support of family, the joy of hobbies, the comfort of familiar routines. This simple act of gratitude didn't just help them heal, it rekindled their sense of joy and helped them rediscover the beauty of life on their terms. Gratitude, as the Stoics understood, is a powerful tool for emotional resilience. It creates a buffer against the pain of detachment by filling your heart and mind with the positive, the real, the present. When you cultivate gratitude, you are less likely to be swayed by the whims of fate or the actions of others. You become anchored in the richness of your own life, capable of weathering storms with a calm and steady heart. Reflect on the story of a colleague who felt unfulfilled in their job, constantly dreaming of a different, better career. This discontent grew until they began practicing gratitude, focusing on the opportunities for learning and the supportive relationships they had at work. This simple shift in perspective didn't change their job but transformed their experience, bringing new motivation and a renewed sense of purpose. Gratitude is not reserved for the grand moments in life, it is found in the small, everyday experiences we so often take for granted. Imagine a friend who struggled with feelings of inadequacy, constantly comparing themselves to others on social media. By practicing gratitude, they began to see and value the unique aspects of their own life, things they had previously overlooked in their quest for perfection. This newfound appreciation reduced their envy and deepened their sense of self-worth. As you embrace this Stoic principle, remember that gratitude is not just a fleeting emotion but a deliberate practice that enriches your life. It allows you to see the abundance surrounding you and detach from the constant craving for more. Practicing gratitude daily builds emotional strength and resilience, making it easier to let go of what no longer serves you and focus on what truly matters. Incorporate gratitude into your life by taking a moment to reflect on your blessings each day. This practice enhances your well-being and fosters a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. As you make gratitude a habit, you'll discover a more profound sense of joy and a more remarkable ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. As we journey through the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, embracing principles such as detachment, gratitude, and self-care, we unlock the potential for a more resilient and fulfilling life. We build a foundation of inner strength and independence by setting healthy boundaries, reframing our thoughts, and living in the present moment. Remember, the path to emotional freedom is not about severing ties or becoming indifferent, it's about nurturing a balanced and self-assured existence where your happiness is rooted within you. We hope these 10 rules have provided valuable insights and practical steps to help you move toward a more peaceful and contented life. If you found this helpful, please reflect on how these principles can make a difference in your life. Embrace them, live them, and let them guide you to a life of greater peace and fulfillment. Thank you for reading, and remember, true happiness lies within your control.